what we're doing is a semi, look at my flashlight.
Yeah.
Can you see that down there? You want to bring it down here now? We're doing a semi front suspension rebuild because what we're doing, we're putting disc brakes on this car. Now, the owner didn't want to do a complete front suspension rebuild. He said he was going to do that at a later time, which is fine with me because that's a big job and I really don't have time to dick around with front suspension work. So what I decided to do is he wanted to put some spindles on this. I told him, I said, if you put 2-inch drop spindles on the front, what's going to happen is the back end is going to sit like this. Then you're going to have to do something with the back like lowering blocks or some kind of bullshit, which this is a coil spring rear end, so you'd really have to do some modification, probably heat the springs up or something like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's going to ride like some hoopty ride. The spindles that he bought, he went ahead and bought some. I believe they were $375 for a set of spindles for this.
Ouch.
And I told him, you are fucking crazy. I said the best way to lower these old classic Chevrolet cars is with coil springs because it's a coil spring suspension front and back. They sell a 2-inch drop coil spring set, which will, from factory height, not from 2016, 2017, fucking springs, because you know the springs are shot on this thing, right?
Oh, I'm sure they.
So I'm sure it sits lower than if we dropped it 2 inches. So I told him if you want a factory ride and you want it to ride smooth, keep the stock spindles and go get some springs. So we found some springs and I shopped around and there's several companies out there. There's a company called UMI that makes them. And I believe that they made a 1-inch drop spring, which wasn't enough. And then we found Beltec, which made a 3-inch in the back, 2-inch in the front. And then we found D.I.Y. So those were the 3 companies. And I started searching. Now these springs weren't cheap. They were around $325 for it, between $325 and $500, we'll say. So D.I.Y. would have been the most expensive, and then you had, once you had D.I.Y., then it went to Beltec, and then UMI. So I got on eBay and I found some other springs, which was another brand, that was 180 bucks.
There you go.
So I started thinking to myself, wow, why are these guys $100, you know, $150 cheaper than everybody else? I called them up and talked to them. You know, they kind of shot me a square programs type deal or whatever. You know, putting the sales pitch on my friend Pete, because you know they want to sell some springs. I looked them up on the internet. They seemed like they were a good company, and I went ahead and ordered these things for 185 bucks.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
There's a lot of people out there that want to lower their classic cars. I'm going to tell you right now from experience, the best way to do it is to lower it with your springs, not your drop spindles, not lowering blocks and all this other shit. Buy some springs that will lower your ride. You will have the factory ride. If you go to a reputable company and get the springs, then the springs will have the same spring rate or better, because this is 2017, than back in 1966, and everything will work good. So here's the spring right here. You can see I wear a size 13, so you can see that's a pretty big front spring. Do you see that?
Yeah, it's big.
That's a big spring. Some people say bigger's better. That spring's bigger than my foot, so you know, it might be better. I don't know. All I know is that's a big bastard. The real deal is we went ahead and ordered these things on eBay. And that's what this little video is about purchasing something on eBay that the name isn't really as popular versus the Beltec or the UMI or the D.I.Y, because I've never even heard of these guys. You know, these guys here are like, you know, I never heard of them until I got on eBay.
So this is probably going to be like a disaster video?
I don't know. This is what you call a review video on purchasing an item like this on eBay and hoping the product is worth the money. Alright? So, this is a 4-spring kit that we ordered, and the company's name on this is Now, when you get the box, you're going to see that it's packaged pretty secure. If they actually threw this box around, the box would probably break, and that would suck. But the springs are in here, very heavy box. And you can see it says 64 through 67 A body, which is General Motors, lowering spring kit, set of 4, 2-inch drop. So it should drop the car, even Steven, 2 inches. Now this is from factory height, once again. This thing was already sitting pretty damn low before we jacked it up in the air, because the springs are what? 64, 74, 84, 94, 04, you know, 70 fucking years old here. But it's very important, I'm going to tell you this, it's very important when you restore an old car and you got sloppy suspension and you're using the old springs, this, that, and the other, it's going to make your car drive like shit.
Not to mention the wear and tear on all
the wear and tear on all the other parts, the wear and tear on your tires. You'll never get a true front end alignment. All right, using the old worn out parts, all right, all it's going to do is maybe save you some money and you know, make you look cool, I guess. I don't know. But let's get back to the video. So we got the springs here, and as I'm opening the package, it's got 4 springs. Let's go ahead and open those up.
Well, that's a plus that we at least got all the springs.
And as I open it up, I'm looking at the spring, and it's powder-coated red.
Those are some heavy-duty looking springs there. Those are much heavier than the originals, looks like.
Well, I don't know about that, but we see we got the part number on the spring. They're painted red, powder-coated, I don't know. But let's take our front spring, put it up next to the factory spring, measure it up, and see what we got.
How do you know that's the front, not the back?
Because, baby, it's pretty obvious. Are you fucking joking me?
No, I'm not joking.
Okay. You saw the old...
There's 2 tall ones and 2 short ones.
Okay.
How do you know which is which?
Okay, you saw the front springs, right?
They're pretty tall, but I hadn't seen the
You
back.
tell me, which one's right here? Which one's the front? Exactly. Son of a bitch! Now look what you made me do. It's a brand new spring, Minnie!
It's sprung all the way out the back of the truck.
So, here's our factory spring. Yeah. Alright? And then we're going to take our lowering spring. We're going to set it next to it, just like that. And you can see that this is a lot lower.
It is.
Okay? This is a lot smaller spring. Now, hold on a minute.
And it actually is about the same beefiness.
It's the same beefiness, but that's probably more beefier being a shortened spring. It's probably got more suspension on it than the big spring to compensate.
Yeah.
So in this case, what we're doing here, bigger is not better, and smaller would be the best way to go, if you were looking at it that way. So we're going to measure this up here, and I'm looking at a 4-inch difference. Almost 5 inches. So they're claiming that this is a 2-inch lower spring from stock factory height, and you can see that the spring is approximately 4.5–5 inches difference in height. So we know that it is definitely going to lower the car. I'm also looking at the spring, and I'm kind of agreeing with Minnie. This one looks like it's more beefier than this one. This looks skinnier than that one. This one looks like it's a little thinner than this one, just by what I'm looking at here. I could be looking at things weird. I don't know.
Oh, no, it's hard to tell. Maybe it's
hard to
because
tell,
it's
but
red.
maybe the diameter on this one's just a little bit bigger. But I'm thinking that once we get these in here, I'm thinking that this is a stiffer spring due to that it's a lower spring to compensate for the height. All right, because that looks like it would lower it a lot more. Let me put it right here. Yeah, we're talking 4 inches difference.
Well, I bet you it doesn't have any give to it.
I don't know, but I guarantee you it'll probably ride a lot better than this because these springs are 53 years old.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and install these springs. When we come back, we're going to test out the stability of our springs that were over $100 cheaper than everybody else. And we're going to see if they are actually worth the money. While we're here, let's go ahead and see how hard these things are to put in. And hopefully they should slide right in there, being 4 inches smaller than the stock spring.
You would hope.
All right, bring it over here. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and slide this spring in there. Now, when you put your springs in, you want to make sure that the top's in the top and the bottom's in the bottom. And to be honest with you, I got to go over there and see which fucking way they go. Because I'm kind of lost here. Hang on. All right, we're going to go ahead and install these springs up inside here. I can already see that we won't need a spring compressor to put these in. We actually had to use our spring compressor to take the old ones out. Once again, I went ahead and changed the ball joints on this, and we're putting disc brake system on it. I told the owner that he was crazy, that he's not rebuilding the front suspension. He doesn't have the money. He said he's going to do that at a later date. He wants to do the bodywork and paint, so that's fine with me. At least the ball joints are done. But if he wants to replace the bushings on the control arms, he's going to have to take all that apart. So I thought it was kind of ridiculous, but it's not my fucking car. So I can't judge what he needs to do with his money and time, which is fine with me because this is an easier situation. So we're going to take that spring, and I also noticed by looking at the spring, to install these, I believe they actually put the nameplate, you can see it right there, they put that on there where it was facing right side up, which is going to tell you where the top of the spring goes. So we're going to slide this spring up in here. And remember, when you put your springs in, there's actually a notch where the spring fits. And then it should fit in place. So let's get the spring up in here first. And, okay, now if Minnie can jack that up, I'd appreciate it. Okay, there you go, come on. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go ahead and install the spindle on here. Okay, what you just saw is I put the spring in there. It went in very easily. I like that. I'm kind of wondering if these things are going to be too low. Is the spring walked in there properly? It looks like it is. Okay. So I'm wondering if maybe these springs might be too low. And they might give us problems. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and install everything into the vehicle, and when we come back we're going to check it out sitting on the ground, and hopefully our springs are going to be worthy enough to say it's a good eBay item, and my friend Pete says to buy them. Until then, we don't know what's going to happen.
All right, Pete's got the El Camino on the ground. Let's take a look and see if it actually got lowered.
Short, Tom. Appreciate it. Okay, we got our buddy Tom. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, I'm doing fine.
Okay, what kind of car you got, buddy?
We got a 60 Ford
62.
station wagon.
I thought it was 1962.
No, 1960.
62 Ford Galaxy station wagon. A 60.
60.
So we got our buddy Rick's Custom Auto over there, and I think we got some videos on that. I need to post those, but it's a real rat machine, but he's making it a brand new car. What do you think of our lowering springs, Tom? What's going on?
I think it came out nice and
We
level.
put the-
And,
Look how level
Looks
that
like
baby
it's-
is, huh?
just
Now-
right height.
We put 2-inch drop springs on this, brand new. We used the brand that I showed you in the beginning of the video, and we saved ourselves approximately almost $200 on this set of springs on eBay versus the other guy. So Minnie's doing a beauty shot of it, I guess. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So come on back here. Let me show them how big these springs were. And I've already put the car on the ground, but that's the rear springs right there, Tom. The ones that I replaced are only about that tall.
Wow.
And I was afraid when I did this, I was afraid that what would happen is those springs were so short, they look so little that that thing would be dragging on the ground, but it doesn't. Look at that suspension, watch.
Are they the compound spring?
What do you mean compound?
Coil.
Yeah, they're
changes?
coils.
Yeah, but I mean the coil changes its shape.
Ratio?
Yeah.
You're talking, you know, science to me.
Too
here,
much
guy.
engineering there.
So we got our El Camino on the ground. I like the springs. The springs are a good deal. And changing the springs out, son of a bitch, watch out. We don't want the bumper to fall off. And believe me, it's loose. Changing the springs out on an old classic car like this is not that hard. It's a pretty simple deal. You're going to have more problems putting the front springs on. You saw that action. On the back, all it is one bolt and a nut and a spring plate. Take that off, jack it up, drop the rear end down, put it on jack stands, drop it down. The back springs over here, right here, Minnie, camera girl, Minnie.
Yes.
They fall right out. You put the other ones in. It's a wham bam, thank you ma'am situation. So I like the way it sits. It sits nice and level, and it's a lot better and a lot cheaper than buying 2-inch drop spindles and putting lowering blocks on a car that's already got bad springs anyway. Tom?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Brand new suspension, brand new brakes on this thing. Now all he's got to do is buy a carburetor and a fuel pump, and he'll be cruising in style in his 1964 classic El Camino that says this is a one-owner car from New Mexico, and it's a beautiful ride. We'll see you later. Take it easy. If you need some springs, get the ones on eBay and double check. Make sure that you do your P's and Q's, and always investigate the situation before you buy the first thing that hits your eyeball. Am I right, Tom? So you just spent a lot of money on your car, am I right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. We're talking brand new motor, brand new transmission, brand new suspension, I guess.
New rack and pinion.
Did you replace all the springs on your car?
About to.
So you're going to do the same thing?
I'm going to re-arc the leaf.
Okay, you got leaf springs on yours.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to heat it up with a torch and bend it down.
Take it to the leaf shop and have them.
Okay, but you can buy lowering leaf springs.
Yeah, you can, but they'll do the re-arcing for a third of the price.
Wow. You see what I'm saying? Investigate the situation. Check it out before you spend all those big bucks. You see what Tom here's telling us. And when are you going to have your rat rod ready to go?
This summer.
Yeah, the thing's been over here 2 years, Tom.
Yeah.
It's a 2-year project. See, you thought we were going to bring it in, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, take it back to Missouri with you.
I thought we were just going to take and just make it roadworthy, and
Yeah.
I was going to do the rest there.
Right.
But
So you got the power steering, you got the in-dash AC and heat, brand new motor, brand new transmission. What about wiring? Are we rewiring the car now?
I'm going to do that.
Are you going to do that
early
yourself?
later. I got I'm either going to use the.
So does it run? Did he start it up?
No, the motor's out right now. It's
Oh, he took the motor out again.
the motor out again.
Okay.
The
Power rack or?
the rack is wreaking havoc over there. But
Okay. So we didn't do our P's and Q's on the rack.
No, and it was a name
Because
brand
I thought
rack
that
was designed for that system.
That's what I'm saying. I can't understand why you buy a rack and pinion for it. It's designed for that car, but you can't hook the steering up.
Apparently what Rick said was that in those years Ford put on whatever they had sitting in hand, anywhere from 57 parts to
Right, Mercury.
60 parts. Yeah.
Mercury and Ford, they kind of interchanged them. This is Pete, my friend Pete, your friend Pete, with our buddy Tom from Missouri, and classic guy that he is. We just got done with our brakes and our suspension and the springs. So this company is a worthy company, and I don't know if I advertised their name or not. If I didn't, give me a call and we'll go ahead and give you the name of that company. Other than that, I guess you're gonna have to do your own investigation and figure it out all by yourself. We'll see you later, and El Camino will be leaving the shop tomorrow. We got a fucking Mustang back there we gotta get on. Turn it off now, thanks. Have a great day. Minnie the Body Shop Girl.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.